The sky... Oh. The sky is cloudless and the noontime sun is beating down on the hard concrete when we leave the cafe. It is far from unbearable, but it's enough to put most people in a fickle mood or make them vulnerable to catching something. No wonder we have staff members going AWOL lately. What? Not to mention my boss, Mercuro Moon. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want our cloudy weather back. For all the gripes about the unpredictable weather, though, the streets of Luxembourg remain constantly busy. The hurried tapping of shoes against the pavement, the in-and chatter coming from lunchtime crowd, filled the humid afternoon air. A small reminder of the things we still have to do, regardless of how much I want to return to the comfort of my bed. Back to real me, Zach to a meeting with a magazine publisher featuring the luxury houses, and Beck to her lesson plans and books at home. But more than that, I catch her sneaking a longing glance over something displayed on a window shop. Does she want to buy something? Maybe I can get it for her this Christmas. I turn my head at the last shop she checked out. A fleeting glimpse. The world stills. Oh God! She looks at me, eyes hollow, gaze piercing, and boring into my soul like a set of chains to keep my whole body still. There are no shadows or whispers this time. Only a plea, a hum low and indistinct, compelling me, beckoning me, intent on dragging me to the void beyond the glass. I don't dare move. My heart hammers against my ribs. Each beat, every thump, screaming at me to look away and make a run for it. But I can't. I couldn't. All of my limbs feel heavy while okay then. All of my limbs feel heavy while my own breathing strains in the face of her calls.
Leave me alone.
Her mouth is stretched with a grin, wide and unpleasant. The panic building up in my chest forces me to take attentive step back. I try not to stare at the decaying flesh and blood streaming from the gaping wounds on her arm or her nailless fingers. I don't want this. Not like this. Not after what I've got. Not after I got what I want for Papa.
No, stop. Leave me alone.
Her face contorts and she lets out a wail. Sharp and utterly unforgiving. Rage. There is only hatred and bitterness, as if the very notion of turning away from her is an offense in itself.
Please! I don't want this!
Oh God. Before I know it, I'm stumbling back. Before I know it, I'm stumbling backwards, my own throat hoarse from the screams. I didn't even notice already coming out of my mouth. The back of my feet catches on a loose stone, sending me sprawling on the ground. The resulting pain completely jolts me out of the haze blurring my mind. For a while, my surroundings appear unfamiliar until Becca's face swims into my vision. A look of concern is on her face, and her hands are gripping my arms tight. Even Zach appears behind himself with worry while he stands behind her, acting as a shield against the small crowd of onlookers already forming around us.
What happened?
Bella, you okay?
My mouth opens and closes, but nothing comes out. The words refuse to form. Or on impulse, I sneak a swift glance at the display window. She's gone. Yet the foreboding feeling has left me. My hands are shaking as I push myself on the ground, and my weakened limbs rely solely on reflex and muscle memory. Something icy has made its home at the pit of my stomach. I want to throw up anything to get the wretched sensation out.
You were screaming. Zach, call someone. No, don't. I'm good. I'm good. I need to get to the office. Rose, the floor plans. Someone's going to pick it up. I'll see you later.
Careful. Don't stand up yet. Stay put, Isabella. Zach, you watch over her for me. I'll call for someone.
I attempt to smile to put her at ease, but likely it comes off as grimace. Gently, I push her hands off my shoulders. My knees are still trembling, but I can stand. Leave. Leave me. Stay away. Away. The humidity stifling. Everyone's stares are unnerving, and Becca and Zach's concerns are suffocating. I don't want to be here. No more. I break into a run. I wish I hadn't left my bed this morning. Here, with the only occasion drips of water on the sink, and the whirring of the fan blades to keep me company, it's easy to fall asleep. It's easy to fall into a cycle of negative thinking. I don't know why I keep saying stuff that aren't there while I'm reading this. But even with the clutter to keep me company, the room still feels a whole lot bigger than usual. I hug my knees closer as the group passes by outside. Loud. So loud. If only there was a way to tune everything out, to keep my head from replaying every image, every sound of her. Her screams, her awkward gait as she reaches for me, her bone-chilling smile, her pleas for enough. That's enough. A shiver passes over me, though it's not from the hair still hanging damp against my back, nor the draft that enters the room from the windows I've left wide open. My gaze shifts over the letter sitting on the coffee table. Its edges flutter unconsciously as the wind touches it. Funny how an ordinary looking piece of paper can bring this much trouble. The impulse to throw it away or rip it into pieces is still there. I can easily do it, but after what? Will she leave me? What about those people who have already seen it? Will they be okay? This uncertainty gnaws at me. Knowing that she's real and go after the people I care about. I just wish someone would listen. Believe me. The abrupt break in silence nearly makes me jump out of my skin. Blindly, I fish out my phone from under the mess of papers and cushions where I've carelessly thrown it before taking a shower hours ago. Zach's name flashes brightly on the screen. Is he calling because of this afternoon? Frankly, it's the last thing I want to discuss, but I did leave the two of them without saying anything. Knowing Zach, I bet he's worried.
Hey, Zach.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you're not gonna pick up.
Sorry, it took me a while to find my phone.
I bet it did.
No worries. You game tomorrow?
I pause. I don't recall making plans for Zach for the weekend.
Did I forget something?
Remember that guy I told you about? Back in the movies? The, priest? For the blessing? Does it ring a bell?
Oh, right. I did say that, but I didn't think he'd actually go through with the trouble. Especially after what happened with his film. Sometimes I forget how kind Zach can be.
I remember. Is he fine with it?
My friend doesn't mind. We're lucky he's not busy. So, tomorrow, he'll meet us at the mansion.
Okay. Sorry for the trouble, Zach.
Hey, no problem. I'm the one who suggested it to begin with. And, well, this afternoon you did surprise us. Never seen you scream like that. You scared the hell out of Rebecca.
I guess I owe you a lot for this, huh?
Nah, we're cool. You had us worried. But I know you'll tell us about it eventually. I just want to make sure you're doing well. You left all of a sudden and you're not answering any of our calls.
He's trying to get me to talk. Normally I tell him I'm fine and say a few reassurances to put their minds at ease. Now nothing will form. I can't bring myself to say anything. He seems to have sensed my hesitation before, because he immediately changes the subject.
Anyway, I gotta go. I left something on the stove before making this call. Just soup. But it'd be embarrassing if I burned soup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be.
I doubt it. Ashton, on the other hand.
Well, remind me to tell you about what he did with the pressure cooker next time. Oh, damn, it overflowed! Really need to get going. Bye, Bella.
He hangs up before I can thank him. The busy tone, though muffled, echoes through the receiver. No one is saying this will work. Even I'm doubtful it will. But right now, I'll take anything. Anything to get out of this nightmare. Sleep comes easier tonight. And for the first time in a long time, I dream of clear skies, unrestrained laughter from children, and playing in the streets, and of small, cramped dwellings. To an outsider, the sight does not paint a pretty picture. However, this is home to me. Morning dawns bright and clear the following day. Although the air still feels muggy and I miss the chilly autumn weather, it's one of those rare weekends when I wake up even before my alarm rings. If it wasn't for Zach's call last night, I'd probably sleep in. When 9 a.m. rolls around, I'm already on my way to Emmer Garden Mansion. To think that I'd be back again, I'd be lying if I say I'm excited. I don't have to anymore. Rose happily gave me the paperwork duty when I volunteered. We were on the last phase of the sale. We're on the last phase of the sale too. Well, almost. Papers designed to documents to finalize. To sign documents, I meant to finalize. Various other legalities to settle with the current owner and all that still. Never mind that its new owners want everything done within the week, when the process typically takes more than that. They want it done. We'll get it done. I really don't understand rich people. I really don't understand rich people. But money can do wonders. I won't be surprised if they're able to push the process just a little more. like what they did to secure the house. The point is, I'm under no obligation to return to the house anymore. Running is an option, of course. I can now move on to another property and forget everything. However, at the end of the day, it's always my conscience that wins. If something happens to those who have the letter, Ash, Zack, Becca, Miss McCullough, the Wrights, the guilt will follow me to my grave. The mansion looms as we approach. Whispers welcoming back, shadows calling. I hope this is the last time. You never know. Oh God. Oh. As they engage in the quiet conversation when I find them in the mansions. They are engaged in a quiet conversation when I find them in the mansion front gardens. But even with familiar company, it's impossible to feel at ease here. No matter what. No matter who I'm with, the feeling being watched is there, like the place itself is aware of its trespassers. Zack, on the other hand, doesn't seem to notice, or he simply doesn't care, or he's already used to it. I can never tell with him. Sometimes he's almost as hard to read as Ash. Almost. At least Zack doesn't ask for too much patience as dealing with Ash does. And that says plenty about him. Miracles of miracles, how the two have ended up the best of friends. He waves at me as I approach. True to his promise, Zack also brought his friend with him. Father Norman. Somehow I expected him to look older.
Oh, don't be surprised. They say people who have found their calling are getting younger these days.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, Father. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
No offense taken. Though I admit I'm a bit surprised. I didn't think someone would ask this house to be blessed after all these years.
Well, it is haunted, so, I mean...
You've heard of it, Father?
Yep.
In passing, the occasional rumors and talk by the locals, nothing new. You don't spend years serving the church here without hearing a random hearsay here and there.
Yep.
You never mentioned what you thought of those, Father.
Ah, but he who goes down to the grave does not come up. He shall never return to his house, nor shall his place know him anymore.
But what I saw...
May not be what you think. It depends entirely on what you mean by it. If you're talking about spirit beings, angels, demons, then yes. Are we talking about the spirits of people who have departed? The word makes it clear that once the deceased has left us, they are gone. But of course, I didn't come here to bore you with a lecture.
No, it was enlightening, Father. Thank you.
Just remember that a God who loves his children would never let them linger once the time comes.
That's what my papa often tells me.
Your father must be a good man. He raised you well, no doubt. Well then, shall we? Regardless of what it is, I'm sure the mansion's new owners would appreciate such sincere intentions. From a stranger, no less.
He lets Zack and I walk ahead. A relief. This way he won't See how tightly I'm clutching my straps on my bag. Father Norman's probably trying to put me at ease. But the worry, the cold, restless, fond, foreboding feeling has firmly lodged itself in my stomach, making its presence known with every step we take towards the house.
Hey, you okay?
I'm just gonna be honest. This place gives me the creeps. It does look creepy. It's hard to lie to Zach when Zach gives you that look. It's just there. The kind that implores a silent appeal. I'm not sure if he's even going to do it, if he's doing it consciously. Another breeze blows through, and I try not to shiver. I try not to listen to the voices that may or may not be there.
Ugh, this place really gives me the creeps.
It doesn't seem more than an ordinary house to me, though. Damn, I should have brought my camera with me. I saw a few areas that'd be good for a shoot. You think the new owners will allow it?
I guess.
Shh! What if you catch something? Or someone in one of the pictures?
It just means they want to be seen, doesn't it?
Don't ask for it.
It's not like we can stop them if they do.
You're really not helping, Zach.
All right, sorry. Don't worry. I don't think whatever's inside this house will do anything. I'm here, yeah? I'll take care of them. Or I think I can.
You're not that scary, but thanks. I'll be sure to run behind you if I see one.
Ridiculous talk, though the temporary reprieve it lends more than welcome. And with that sleight of motion in his head, he gestures for us to move ahead while my own fears are left for the time being. Things inside my bag chatter softly against each other while I rummage for the keys to the mansion. I should have heard the telltale jingle by now, but didn't I put it in my bag last night? Seconds later, I'm sitting on my heels, one after another. I'm taking out everything from pocket, every slip. It'll be a pain to put everything back in later, but I'm sure it's under these. It's just under these. Nothing. Oh man, of all times to forget.
Is something the matter?
No, I'm sorry, Father. I think I left the key.
No use coming up with the excuses. And right after they've both taken the time to go this far away from the city, with a heavy sigh, I grab the door handle to pull myself up. A string of apologies ready at the tip of my tongue.
Careful, Bella!
We've spoken with the current owners. Well, technically, you're not yet the owners, but...
Ah, shit. There's a brief moment of confusion, and then I'm falling. The momentum of the door swinging open pulls me back first into the mansion's foyer before I can make sense of what's happening.
Ow, 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 my back.
What the... Isabella?
Ah, shit. Rose. No time to nurse my bruised back or make up excuses because the next thing I know, Zach's gently pulling me up right by my arm, Rose looks down at me with a mixture of apprehension and something I couldn't place. I'd say it's a relief, but sheesh. Good going, Isabella. Right after you volunteered to work on the papers. And standing behind her.
Ma'am Hannah! Mr. Wright!
Oh, Isabel. We always meet in the most interesting circumstances.
She ain't lying.
A complete understatement, darling. What are they doing in my house?
You haven't even bought the house yet. Abruptly, he waves his hand at Zack and Father Norman like their presence is a sight against his own.
I thought you said you wanted to do paperwork duty. What are you doing here?
Like a deer caught in the headlights. Unfair, Rose. That's for putting me on the spot. And and it leaves me no other choice but to answer.
The reason why I'm here?
Well, spit it out, Lily. We don't have all day.
It's Isabel, fool.
I'm just here to make sure everything is fine before you move in.
I'm so sorry, Mama. You said I'll go to hell if I lie. I likely will after this, but there's no other way. Well, it isn't entirely a lie. I'm here to make sure no one disturbs them after they move in. So it just happens that I'm checking for and trying to drive away is the paranormal variety.
Oh? The house appears impeccably fine to me.
Yeah, well, that's saying it mildly. Mr. Wright shifts his eyes around in a careful manner, as if he's trying to fault every crevice in his room. The grin on his face, though, when he returns his attention to me, is similar to what my Kua Jordan had often given me when he was up to something. Usually a scare prank that inevitably ended in me crying. I'll be right back. It's starting to get a little hot in my room. Alright. Never did I forget the way my brother sneered at me then. A part of me thinks that perhaps if I hadn't been the object of his mischief in childhood, I would have grown a little braver.
Come on, little Lily. Lying doesn't do that cute little face any justice.
You ain't lying.
I'm a very patient man. Now, why are you really here?
Because this house is haunted. Nah, man. Right now, in the face of an almost identical expression, perhaps even crueler than what I'm used to, the lie I told falls apart.
The truth is, I was just thinking we could have the house blessed before move-in day.
And why would we ever need to have this house blessed?
I mean...
For luck and protection?
I shrink under his scrutinizing gaze. For a second, I think that he'll start shouting at me. Instead, he laughs. Not the mocking jeering kind, but one wondering if he's hearing things right. I'd say he's amused, but honestly, I couldn't understand what was so funny with that. What I just said. Was it really that weird? Was it the most common custom here? I wish Becker was here to explain stuff like this.
That's rich coming from you. When we saw Devlin Court, you didn't.
It's a small custom back home. I thought it would be nice to do something that would bring positive energy to the mansion, since this place has been empty for years.
And the papers, Isabella? I hope you did those first before this.
Of course I did. It's almost done, in fact. But there are some items I still have to double check before finalizing everything. You know I don't sign without a thorough inspection. And well, this is what this is for too. I just thought it would be more efficient to do both at the same time.
Here I thought you didn't want to go back.
A job is a job, Rose. Gotta do what you gotta do to make a living.
Facts.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then go ahead. No need to be so hard on her, Rosie. I personally think it's a nice touch.
Rosie?
I was actually thinking of the same thing, but you beat me to it.
Darling, Buttercup, please. You know these things don't work.
You'd be surprised, man.
No offense meant to the holy man, of course.
None taken.
That does not explain the...
Whoa! Whoa! We can't... Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute, bro. Hold on. All of a sudden, there's an awkward silence. All of a sudden, there's an awkward... I don't know. Oh, nah, man. We're gonna have to censor that. We're gonna have to censor that, but I don't know. Okay, I was not expecting that. All of a sudden, there's an awkward silence that even Rose of all people seems to reluctant to break. Although a desire to do so is evident in the way her eyes nervously shifts to Mr. Wright. Meanwhile, Zach's grip in my arm suddenly tightens. He doesn't say anything further, but there is a conflicted look on him when I glance up. That's the face he makes when he desperately wants to give someone a piece of his mind, but chooses not to do so, mostly to avoid confrontation or fanning the flames to an argument. Oh shit. He always has been, always been like this, even among his own friends. He chooses a path placating stance despite holding opinions on his own. Not that I won't say anything. I know Mr. Wright's a client, but you can't just say that in front of other people. You can't just say that in front of other people, in front of Zach no less, because because he's, you know what, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence because y'all know what I'm saying. Nah, man, I'm gonna have to censor the N-word. Okay, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting him to say that. If Ashton were here, I know he wouldn't stand for it. Well, he's not here, and neither do I. There's a reason why bullies back home would never touch my younger brother again after I gave them a taste of their own medicine. He might be inches taller than me, but I'm sure I can still land a hit or two. Maybe. Maybe, if I'm not going to get in trouble with BRC for it. But before any punch can be thrown, Ma'am Hannah cuts it.
Lucille Mitchell Wright.
Lucille Damn. Bro, why? Oh yeah, you know you're in trouble when you're in trouble when someone calls you by your whole name. Oh, okay. In a voice too firm, demanding his complete silence.
What?
My bad. I said science and silence. Instead of answering, she merely crosses her arms and shoots her husband a sharp, disapproving glare. That seems to have done the trick. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to I'm gonna have to censor that word now. Because I know how YouTube is when it comes to hate speech and shit. He immediately shuts his mouth before muttering a few inaudible words under his breath. At this, Ma'am Hannah could only sigh and shake her head. I'm surprised she didn't slap him in the face.
Oh, give it a rest, love. Do you have a better idea? Who knows? Positive energy might even give us what we've been waiting for. Or some peace. Let them do their job.
What have we been waiting for? I don't think I was ever informed of.
Nothing you should worry about right now. Anyway, we've still got a few things we need to discuss with Rosie here. Over lunch? I hope you don't mind, Isabel. We'd love to take you with us, but...
Oh, no. Go ahead, ma'am. This'll take time. That's why there's 2 of us working on this.
Rose looks like she's about to murder someone. Probably me. At least she won't have anything. At least she won't have to stay in a haunted property. She's getting the better end of this deal. If anyone's going to ask me.
Oh, wonderful. I hope the next time the 3 of us meet, it'll be over a closed deal.
Yeah.
Of course, ma'am. Please look forward to it.
Oh, okay. Rose hurriedly handed me the keys to the house before leaving, mouthing reminders to secure the place and harmless threats for throwing her under the bus. I returned it with a reassuring smile, even if she's the one who forgets. Sheesh. And just like that, gone just as quickly as they appear, fleeing from one scene to the next and leaving me wondering if this simply was typical. The rich and famous. If so, I'd rather stay in my rundown apartment or our little shack back home. There's still joy in the smallest things after all. I don't like how the music shifted like that. But for a house this big, it's not surprising when the ceremony takes a few hours to finish. The sun's already high by the time we've gone through the last room. Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting him to say that word. I can never say I'm a devout follower of my own faith, even with Mama and Papa's teaching. I really hope he doesn't say that word again. But hearing every word Father Norman uttered as we went around the house has put me at ease. All of a sudden, the mansion doesn't seem so scary anymore. Maybe there's an end to this? Or perhaps this is the end. Father Norman bids us goodbye upon exiting the mansion grounds. He has business in the village nearby, he says. A moment gestured to reach out the members of their parish every once in a while. It reminds me of a distant memory of helping hands and a few kind smiles that helped my family through the times were tough. But before he leaves...
Isabella, a word before I go?
Ah, shit.
Zachary hasn't been really forthcoming with your situation, and it is something I understand it wasn't his to share.
Yeah, is it the N-word? Is it because of the fact that, he got called the you-know-what?
But whatever burdens you, know that it's not a permanent fixture in your life.
Okay.
Besides, you have people to bear it with.
Yeah. I bite back the harsh retorts before they come out, masking it with a smile as we wave the good priest off. His words, though meant to comfort, has only left a bitter taste in my mouth. And if they don't believe you, what am I to do? A hand lands briefly on my shoulders, taking me out my thoughts before they take a sullen turn. But my smile doesn't reach quite my ears when I turn to him. Ah, fuck.
Say, do you want to go somewhere?
Away from here, yeah.
Right now? Where to?
Bro, surprisingly, Zach handled it pretty well.
Anywhere in the city. I'll leave it up to you.
Hang out with Zach, maybe someone. You know what? Let's hang out with Zach.
It wouldn't hurt. I've got some stuff I need to buy. Groceries. And there's a shop I want to check.
Is it real food this time?
Let me guess. Rebecca?
Yep.
She's just worried about you. Even I can't eat that much instant noodles.
Think of it as a talent. Let's just go, Zach.
A smile, a real one this time, devoid of any unpleasant thoughts. Regardless of what happened between us these past few days, I don't want to think harshly of them. Oh. Zach had me wait on a nearby bench upon arriving prior to going off somewhere. He hasn't returned since, and it's been a good 20 minutes before of being left alone entirely to my thoughts. In this weather, the city park gives off a lazier and more languid vibe than usual, where children are usually seen running around and playing. There are now people lying, leaning back to their picnic on their picnic blankets and enjoying the afternoon sun. The smell of food drifts from nearby carts, and if the wind blows at the right direction, one could catch the whiff of those firmly trimmed grass. I gladly sleep on this bench if I wasn't waiting for anyone. Soon enough, I see his hulking figure running towards me, carrying a medium-sized box on one hand, casually waving the other at me. He's panting when he reaches my bench. Sweat drips profusely from his forehead, but there's grin on his face.
Sorry, the line was really long. Really long.
I bet it was.
You didn't have to run. Sit down first.
Nah, I'm good. Didn't want to make you wait for these.
I already knew what's in the blue box before he opens it. Donuts, cinnamon rolls. Why did I say donuts? Cinnamon rolls, all 6 of them topped with a white cream cheese glaze. The very same one I bought after I sold my first property. After I met Zach, Ash, and Becca. Funny how such a small thing can trigger a distant memory. No matter how mundane it is. I don't say no more to free food, but why is he getting me these now?
What for?
He leans on the empty space beside me, wiping the sweat off his forehead before answering.
An apology. And as thanks for yesterday and the other day.
You don't have to buy me anything, Zach.
You were upset. You haven't been yourself recently, and people kind of miss that, you know?
Are you just saying that, or...
No, really. Rebecca told me. You know how she is. Ashton, too.
Ashton was an ass. He should have been named Ashhole instead.
I'll never get over that name.
He went a little overboard, yeah. I can talk to him if you want.
He'll still tease me about it, even if it's Rebecca telling him to stop. Besides, I can handle him.
You always do. And yesterday, when you talked me through my little slump, I thought, hey, I want our old Isabella back. Are you still upset?
Why would I be upset? There are times when I wish Zach had been my big brother, or Becca, my oldest sister. Maybe life would have been a little easier then. Maybe Papa wouldn't be as sick as he is. Maybe I wouldn't be alone here. But then again, if they are what I wish them to be, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met Ash too. Life back home is tough, but for all that, I wouldn't change it for one selfish wish. In this city of 68,000 people, I have people I could depend on. 3 of them, in fact. When you think about it, you compare the numbers to the odds of finding someone like them amidst the sea of nameless people. I'm lucky.
Thanks a lot for today, Zach. You didn't have to, but you did. I can always count on you.
Just me? No Ashton or Rebecca? Oh boy, they won't be happy to hear that.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
I don't mind being the favorite, though.
Nope, no favorites. But you cook better than both of them, so that's a plus.
It's always been food with you, ain't it?
Right?
Don't put it like that! You're making me sound like a glutton.
I'm not saying you are, but it does feel good to know there's someone I could invite for food to be able to eat all of it.
Only that? I thought we were also art buddies.
Oh, that too. But the food thing really stands out when you think about it. You do eat a lot for someone your, size.
Low blow. I take pride in my height.
So, is it okay now? Do you feel better? Does it still scare you?
A little. I'll be okay. I'll figure it out somehow. It's not as bad as the other day, and Father Norman helped too. I should have brought something to thank him.
Oh, we could visit him anytime. He loves hearing from the young ones.
He isn't that old, is he?
Don't know. He doesn't tell. I think I might have seen his face somewhere before. I just couldn't recall when or where. Ash says he looks like his boss, so the bartender at the local pub if he squints. Don't take his word for it, of course. He might have accidentally inhaled something from the forensic lab again when he said that.
This time the laughter that comes from both of us is genuine. Back to the usual. Things may have not been the easiest lately, but it certainly hasn't been the worst that has happened. We do end up sharing the cinnamon bun between us, despite Zach's insistence that it's only for me. But more than the food is, there is relief and
If
contentment.
you need anything, just ring, okay? Like when Ash annoys you too much. I'll help you with him, best friend or not.
No way. I can take him on.
Still an extra muscle wouldn't hurt, yeah? Just let me know, and I'll back you up. My sister knows this one thing to shut him up when he's being his usual self. Ask me what it is whenever you want, and I'll spill it.
I don't think that's necessary, but thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
He leaves me with a smile and a wave. Of course, some new gig again. Off to some new gig again. As for me, we still need to talk. Becca, Ash, and I put petty arguments aside like the adults we all are. This, however, is a start, no matter how small it may be. I just hope that I can keep them safe. A light wind blows again, sending dry leaves and swirling the distant smell of earth into the air. For the first time, the sunlight feels harsh. Maybe a walk is good? I need to visit the grocery too. Come to think of it, wasn't there an art store that opened recently near the park? The cat's name is Baruthio, or at least that's what his collar says. It's an odd name to give a cat, in my opinion, but it speaks grace, much like the one that carries it. It shows in the way he swishes in his tail, and his eye follows my hand's every movement. I'm not sure what he finds fascinating in me. To be honest, I wasn't the pretty picture of grace when he found me after all. It was a bad idea carrying 2 heavy bags of newly bought art material and groceries without a hand or sure ride home. In hindsight, perhaps I shouldn't have bought all of these at the same time. I didn't even make it past the park, and now I'm suffering underneath the glaring afternoon sun. I hunched up in the park bench and drenched in sweat in the company of a cat curiously watching my every movement. I hope it stays where it is. It's just a black cat, but back at home, they are considered ill omens. That's, I mean, look, man, black cat, yeah, I hear that all the time. If you come across a black cat, you get bad luck. I honestly think that's bullshit.
Don't look at me like that. I can act graceful as well if I want to.
Not that I have ever acted graceful in my life, of course. Growing up with a rowdy younger brothers and a sister does that. Or maybe it's the opposite. Mama used to call me a little troublemaker before. Well, graceful or not, there's no moping. A shorter breather, and I'm off home. Besides, it isn't like the company's bad, even if it's a cat, as long as it doesn't bite across my path.
But where's your owner anyway?
He has one, doesn't he? An owner? That's what the collar is. That's what the collar's for, isn't it? A bandage is wrapped around one of its paws. So, I wonder what happened to it. Did he run away?
Well, if you don't have one, I won't be able to take you in. My apartment doesn't allow pets. I tried to bring one home before, a cat, not black, of course. And Rebecca threw a fit before the landlady could.
A small packet of sweets from one of the bags beside me pops, and I take a small packet of sweets from one of the bags beside me, and pop it open. Right as I'm about to put one in my mouth, he meows. My hand stops.
Do you want one?
He doesn't meow again, as I'm expecting him to, but I take his unblinking gaze as a yes. I shift the piece to my palm and hold it out to him warily. He sniffs at it once, twice before. Baruthia. Like a good, properly chained pet, Baruthia responds as soon as he's called. Recognition comes as soon as my head snaps in the direction to the voice. This calling is hard to miss. What with her eye.
I'm sorry. Did my cat hurt you? Miss Santos, was it? I'm surprised to see you here.
Nice to meet you again, Miss McCullough.
McCullough, my goodness.
Were you harmed in any way? I'm sorry. Baruthiel's not exactly fond of other people. Even run away from the veterinarian right now.
Oh no, he was just sniffing my hand earlier.
My Baruthiel's a she.
She? Oh. She. All this time I thought the pause in conversation if can be held, it can be called, if this can be called one, is uncomfortable. We're merely two people working different jobs for the same client. Frankly, a meeting like this don't happen a lot. And if it does, a simple nodding of heads is enough. I keep my tone cordial and warm.
I'm actually surprised you have a cat, Miss McCullough.
And why exactly is that? There are a lot of people who have pets.
I mean...
Yeah, but not a black one. I'm amazed you're taking care of one.
I mean, I like cats.
I don't understand what you're trying to get at. Is there a problem with my cat?
No, not really.
No, not at all. She's very sweet. Just in other cultures, aren't they a sign of bad luck?
Nope. Back at home it is. My grandmother used to tell me stories about it.
Nothing has happened to me so far.
Right? Displeasure is evident on her face. Ah, of course. I've forgotten.